Welcome back to the Relaxing Ghost channel here on YouTube. Today we have our top 5 WWE DVDs from 2008. We are on the downward hill towards the end of this series here with the top 5 WWE DVDs from each year. Hope you guys have been chugging along with me here, and feel free anytime to keep sending in those suggestions. Let me know your top 5 DVDs from 2008. When I look back at 2008, I see a lot of good DVD releases, from good to great. There wasn't too many bad DVDs released in this year. With that being said, let's get in to number 5. Number 5 on my list is going to be one of my favorite DVDs of all time, and that's going to be the greatest Hell in a Cell matches of all time. Hell in a Cell 3-disc set. Absolutely love this DVD. This was, of course, 2008 release, and I think we got about 15 matches on here from the first Hell in a Cell all the way up until 2007 Survivor Series. So this is a pretty complete set. It's only missing one, I believe, from WrestleMania 15. So overall, it's a pretty good match compilation. 14 Hell in a Cell matches on here. Of course, you got Undertaker, Shawn Michaels. You got the 2 matches that they had on Raw, Mankind and Kane, and then Austin and Undertaker versus Mankind and Kane. You got the famous Hell in a Cell from King of the Ring 98, the famous 6-man Hell in a Cell, Triple H and Chris Jericho, Undertaker versus Lesnar. You got the 2 cell matches from Bad Blood, Vengeance 2005, Armageddon 2005. You got the handicap Hell in a Cell match, DX versus the McMahons, and then Survivor Series 2007. Overall, it's one of my favorite matches of all time. It's a hell of a DVD to go back and watch. I'm glad they released it around this time before we really got into the PG era. I would like to see an updated Hell in a Cell DVD set at some point, but I don't think we'll ever get that. So number 4 is going to be another one of my favorites. This time we're going to the documentary portions with the life and times of Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig. Absolutely perfect. WWE was still doing a lot of 2-disc sets at this time, and I think they did a great job with this release. We got a full-length documentary, and then 10 complete matches from WWE, AWA, and WCW. You have a lot of the Mr. Perfect vignettes from 88, 89, and I think the early 90s here. Check it out in a second. Yeah, they were from October 88 through November of 89. And then in 1992, we had other vignettes with... we had football with Steve Jordan, basketball with Felton Spencer, hockey with Mike Modano. So they put some different sports stars in there as well. So that was cool. And then, of course, you had Wade Boggs, one of Perfect's friends. Great matches here. You got Hennig versus Bockwinkel for the AWA heavyweight title. Mr. Perfect versus Hogan in Madison Square Garden. You have the awesome match from SummerSlam 91. Bret Hart, Mr. Perfect for the IC title. One of my favorites of all time there. SummerSlam 93 versus Shawn Michaels. And then Uncensored 98 versus Bret Hart. The thing I love about 2-disc sets is they always leave you wanting more. I think that should be the goal of a DVD. Not just cram, as much as you can into a DVD. Sometimes I like that, sometimes I don't. Sometimes those 8 or 9 hours go pretty quick. Other times you just kind of dread the DVD you're watching. With this Mr. Perfect DVD, I always wanted more and more, and I think that's kind of the goal here with the DVD. Perfect DVD. Number 3 is going to be a favorite of many. It's going to be the history of the Intercontinental Championship. Really good set. I love the digibook style to this with the kind of book format. I wish they would have done more DVD sets like this. Overall, a great match compilation. We have matches all the way from 1979 through the 80s, 90s, and into the 2000s here. Really, really good. You got a Hall of Fame class of superstars throughout this DVD with Ken Patera, Pedro Morales, Don Morocco, and Jimmy Superfly Snuka in Madison Square Garden, Steel Cage, Tito Santana and Greg Valentine, Macho Man vs. Ricky Steamboat, Honky Tonk Man and the Ultimate Warrior, Rick Rude and Ultimate Warrior, and then you got Bret Hart and the Bulldog, Razor and Shawn, Rock vs. Austin, Triple H and The Rock, Jericho and Kurt Angle, RVD and Jeff Hardy, Edge and Randy Orton. One of the best complete match collections they've ever done. And at some point, I think the IC title should have a volume 2 like this. I think it would be just as great as the first volume. Number 2 is going to be another one of my personal favorites. I mean, these lists, I put a little spin with my favorites along with some of the best releases from each year. This one, I couldn't leave off the list, whether it was a favorite of mine or not. It's going to be Viva La Raza, the legacy of Eddie Guerrero. And if you're lucky enough, you would have the Raw tribute show with your copy. But this set is just amazing. We have 25 classic Eddie Guerrero matches from ECW, WCW, and WWE, including his WWE title win over Brock Lesnar. You got the Los Guerrero vignettes from 2002 and 2003. Matches with Rey Mysterio, Juventud, Dean Malenko, Chris Jericho. This is a really fun set to go through. You got Intercontinental title matches with RVD, Jeff Hardy, Edge, Los Guerreros versus Team Angle. Matches with John Cena, JBL, Kurt Angle again, and his final pay-per-view match with Eddie and Batista, No Mercy. We also have Eddie's final match on SmackDown versus Mr. Kennedy, so that's a bonus. Eddie Guerrero will always be greatly missed, and eventually I think he does deserve another set. I think this was kind of pushed out a little too soon, but overall it's a fantastic DVD set. And before we get into our number 1 from 2008, gonna run down a couple honorable mentions. So this year was pretty solid for releases. Not too many complaints throughout the year. For my honorable mentions, I'm gonna go with the Twist of Fate DVD, the Matt and Jeff Hardy story. I thought that was really well put together. You got a documentary on Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy on a 2-disc set. And I'm also gonna go with the Ric Flair DVD, the Definitive Collection. I loved how that DVD was put together as well, with the complete documentary and things like that. So the number 1 DVD I'm going to go with is going to go to the SummerSlam Complete Anthology. This is by far one of my favorite DVD sets ever released. I love the cooler, how they packaged it and all that. So we got the 20-disc box set here with the first 20 SummerSlams, the first 11 which have never been on DVD prior to this, And this is about 60 hours, more than 165 matches. Just absolutely incredible. You know, from the debut SummerSlam in 1988 all the way till 2007. Highlights include Undertaker versus Undertaker, the match made in heaven, Savage versus Savage marrying Liz, Bret Hart versus the British Bulldog in Wembley Stadium, Mankind in the Boiler Room Brawl versus Undertaker, Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon, Triple H versus The Rock in the ladder matches, Shawn Michaels' return after a 4-year hiatus in 2002. We had the first ever TLC match in 2000. Randy Orton becoming the youngest world heavyweight champion in 2004. The Legend versus Icon match. Hulk Hogan versus Shawn Michaels. Of course, in '88 we had the Mega Powers versus, I believe, the Mega Bucks. Andre and DiBiase. It's could be a little pricey at times, but I think this is a set every collector should strive to attain. I've seen it go for 80 to 100, as low as 40 to 50 bucks. I was able to buy it brand new, everything was sealed, came well packaged, and I think it's worth every penny I paid. Let me know your thoughts on the top 5 DVDs from 2008. As always, we'll talk to you later. Peace.